Well, hi, and welcome to FST. I'm Mrs. Landon. I'm going to be your teacher for this entire year as we go through our course, which is, again, a year-long course where you can earn your statistics credit for graduation. So that's a kind of a great way to get that checkbox done for graduation requirements, by the way. My intention of this video is I want to give you an overview of how our website is constructed, what you can expect to see, how the learning process is going to go. So let me first start off the calendar. I highly recommend, obviously, take a look at the side calendar here. It's a great overview of what's coming up for the next week. You can also take a look if you click on the calendar itself. My class, or our class, I should say, is scheduled out for the entire semester already. So you can come in here and take a look and see exactly what is planned for all of the days all the way to the end of the first semester. If you know you're going to be gone sometime in November, perfect. Take a look. You can actually see what you're going to miss. Now, our structure this year for teaching is going to be Mondays and Tuesdays are traditional, so you meet with all your classes. Wednesday is going to be a block. Thursday is win, and then Friday is traditional again. So that means we meet the 3 traditional days, and then you're either going to see me on the Wednesday or the Thursday. So for us, Wednesday is the block time, so that's 3rd and 7th hour. I will see you, and then on Thursday we will do it'll be 2nd and 4th hour. Our win time, by the way, is going to be scheduled just for Thursdays. We're going to have a win 1 and a win 2. So for the calendar, again, if you ever have questions, what did I miss? You don't need to ask me that. You honestly can just go right to Schoology. You're going to see exactly what you missed. If we take a look here, I'm going to actually scroll right into, first of all, it's this quick look at course resources. 2 ways to look at the folders, folks, right? You can either click on the side arrow to get a sneak peek, or you can actually just click on the folder itself. I like to click on the folder itself because I give you some more information. If you ever need it, here's the syllabus. Here's a link to actually a playlist I have on YouTube. I have over 150 videos for all of the lessons for FST. The playlist is called Mound Westonka High School, or MWHS FST. And if you click on it, it will bring you right to it should do it right here to the playlist, and you can get there. You don't need this playlist, though, because all of the videos are embedded in Schoology. There's a calculator extension here. TI, during this whole COVID thing we had last year, was giving the extension free. I'm not sure if they still are, but if you want to have the TI-83 calculator on a Chromebook, you can click on this extension and have it for free. If not, you can always rent out a calculator from the math department to use for the year. Some other resources in here, nothing we really need to talk about. So let's actually look at the next folder. If I click in here, we have day 1 and day 2. We'll talk about that more specifically in class. I want to talk about the chapters and how they're structured. We're going to learn 8 chapters over the entire year. We do 4 chapters the first semester, 4 the second semester. They are all structured in a very similar fashion. I like to have consistency and really no big surprises for you. So let's jump into it. First thing you're going to see are all the learning objectives we're going to cover. If it's here, it was read out, which just means it's something we didn't cover or we will not cover for that school year. If you click into it, though, what you're going to find is you're always going to have the chapter resources. And in here, what actually is helpful, and I'm just going to do the sneak peek, you're going to find the chapter note packet. So the chapter note packets, I print out your note packets for you. And I have it's like a workbook for every chapter. Most students like those workbooks, and I will have them supplied to you. Some people like to take notes electronically, and so they like to have a PDF version of it. You could go in here and you could download it. If you're at home and you want to look at the notes, you can maybe print some stuff out. So the notes are always available to you electronically if you want to access them that way. Then if we go back into the folder, what you're going to notice is I have an introduction. I'm building our Schoology class, so it's almost like an online course, something with a little more kind of pizzazz and interaction with it. So here you're going to find some introduction stuff. I tend to go over this in class to introduce the chapter. And then you're going to go right here to our first folder. This is going to be very consistent. This particular chapter has 6 sections, and so every folder is going to have its own learning. You're going to find here it's going to be scheduled. So this right here, all the hours, it's Friday, it's traditional, so everyone has the same plan for this Friday. I really like that first 15 thing that we did back during our COVID hybrid time, so I'm keeping that. I'm kind of talking about what are some of the first 15 things that we're going to do. Then I'm always going to talk about what your homework is. The other thing you're going to see are these images. So you see here, I try to find some great GIFs or some great images that represent what the folder is about. When we get into more kind of challenging sections, sometimes these images are very, very helpful, and I like to point them out to you. So these images in themselves can almost be study guides too. If I go back to this first folder, this is section 1.1, for example. If you click into it, what you're going to find is for this one, we are actually going to do a little what do you remember about statistics Kahoot thing. So I'll just go right past that. But you're going to find an introduction. So I like to give you, again, that online real class feeling. So we're going to have an introduction. What is this section about? Feel free to read this ahead of time. It's something, again, I'm going to highlight before I really start my lecture. Now, what you're going to find is you are going to find the textbook. I have over 100 textbooks. If you want one, absolutely you should take one home with you. Students don't necessarily want all that paper, but again, I have lots of them. You can also access the textbook here. Every section has the PDF documentation for the textbook. So if I click onto this, what you're going to find is this is actually the PDF document of our actual book. So if you're thinking we don't have a textbook, we do have a textbook, okay? It's right here. Feel free to scroll through it and read it. Our lessons are structured in like that note packet I give you to follow this book. So do you need to sit here and read the book? No, not necessarily. Do you like the book part? If you do, great, it's right here. You can scroll on down. You can find and highlight some things. Are you going to get a tutor or someone to help you with the class? Possibly. This could be great information if you're going to have someone try to help you on some stuff. So the book is always available, but then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lecture. This is a standard math class. I'm going to lecture on it, but what you're going to find are the video notes. So if you're sick that day, if you know you're going to be gone, if I did something in lecture and you wrote it down and you're going back and you're like, what was she talking about? You can always go and find the video. These are the videos, by the way, that are in YouTube, but they're embedded in Schoology. So I would recommend, again, if you're absent, perfect, watch the videos, you've got it. The homework here, most of our homework is going to be green puzzle pieces and work uploads. The green puzzle pieces of the homework, you're going to find these embedded in that note packet. So that's why I almost call it a workbook. I like to have it in the note packet. One, if technology goes down, we have no excuse. We can still do homework. We don't need to worry that it's all online. I love the online homework though. There's a couple things about it. You have 3 tries to do your online homework to get the best grade that you want to. Most students in FST are not content if they don't have 100%. I have found that very true over the past years. You get 3 tries. So what students will do is if they're on their second try and it's coming back and they're still struggling, that's when they track me down and get some help. And I think that's such a smart idea that that's what I recommend for you to do. If you're struggling, that's the indicator to see me. If you do get locked out after 3 tries and you need some help, come and see me and I will help you still. And we could look into unlocking that and giving you one more try if it's something that would make sense. If we keep going on, you're going to see a couple more sections. Here's 1, 2, here's 1, 3. By the way, we're still in traditional. Now, if you look here, we're breaking this into our block and our win. So I've broken it out. And if you're kind of like, what hour am I? I'm trying to keep this as clean, cut, and easy for you to follow. So here's the calendar. This is the day you have class. Here's what we're going to do. Other things we have are some deadlines. You're going to notice here, this is just a reminder, hey, you have a deadline coming up. So questions students will have is, when's this homework due? Well, if you take a look at it, I'm going to actually go back into this folder here, for example, section 1.3. When is it due? Well, you're either going to see it in the calendar. You could also see right here, by the way, folks, if you look at it, it says it's September 14th, okay? And you have to make a submission, by the way. This is a work upload. This is one where I'm going to say, do the green puzzle piece. But hey, to get full credit, now you need to upload some supporting work, and that's going to be in the workbook and tell you what to do. But it's due the 14th. So when should you have it done? You should have it done the next class day. That is the expectation. When is the drop dead deadline is what people will ask. And here's the deal. What you see posted on Schoology is when it's assigned in class, when you should be doing it. In theory, again, that next day in class, it should be done so you can get your questions answered. When is the deadline? You're going to have 2 deadlines each chapter, and they're going to be posted. Here's the first one already. If you want to put it in your planner, Friday, September 17th, all the work up to section 1.1 to 1.3 must be completed. When you come to class on Friday the 17th, I will not take any more work for those 3 sections. Okay. By the way, that day, that's when we're going to have an assessment. So typically that mid-chapter deadline is a trigger for quiz time. Okay. I don't call them quizzes. I call them formal assessments. A lot of my formal assessments, if we take a look at it, I really like the blue puzzle pieces on Schoology. So here's an example. We're going to have a formal assessment. By the way, this one has a work upload to it. Okay. And it looks like this one, I might even let you do a retake on it. Typically, the mid-chapter formal assessments, which again are the quizzes, I don't let you retake them. It's something you should be studying for to help you prepare. It'll vary. Sometimes I'll say, all right, I'll give you one more chance on here, and I'll let you know if that does happen. If we continue on in this chapter, we're then going to see a few more sections here. We have 1.5 and 1.4. Another deadline coming up. Perfect. If you like to use your phone, if you like to use planners, put this in your planner. Here's the deadline. We've got it there. On this particular one, we also are then going to have a chapter test, which is pretty standard. This summative chapter test is going to be paper-based in the classroom. Our summative assessments are going to be 80% of your course grade. The formatives are those green puzzle pieces, that blue puzzle piece along the way, those work uploads. That's the other 20%. Okay. Now, summatives, are they retakeable? Yes, if they're not in that last week of the quarter. Okay. If they're within the window, so not the last week of the quarter, is it retakeable? It is. Couple criterias though, and this is very important. If you read this on the folder, the first thing to qualify for a retake, all of that formative work that was assigned to you must have been submitted at an adequate level, and I deem adequate at 70%. If you have one missing assignment when we take this summative assessment, you've just gotten yourself out of the bucket to be able to do a retake. Okay. So that's to qualify for a retake. Get that work in. If you're not working hard the first time to learn the material, there's no really reason why should I give you another try if you didn't care about the first try. Get all of your work in at an adequate level. And that's why, again, most students, like I said, in FST, 100% is what they want. And that is a really smart move to make. Now, on the retake, we'll talk more about the process when it comes up. But again, if you've made all of your homework is in, it's done at an adequate level, you want to retake it, I'll give you a 1-week window. You come and see me. We'll get you some relearning tasks that you can do. Those need to be done. And then you would do another retake of a brand new assessment, the entire assessment, during your win time. So retakes will only be allowed during win time. And that is how basically a chapter works. If we go back up here, you're going to find when you go to chapter 2, very similar structure. Okay. So there's really no big surprises on what you should expect for this. The other thing I do want to highlight is contacting me. You are more than welcome to get a hold of me anytime after class. Stop by at a different hour, swing into my classroom, or send me an email. Now, if you email me, I want you to be really, really careful. And I'm going to hop into our first day of class folder. And what I want you to realize is the email to actually contact me out. And I'm going to correct that. I'm going to go to the second day folder. My email, and I say this because about 5% of the students are like, well, I emailed you, but you didn't get my communication. You didn't email me. Okay. Right here is my email, Landon N. My first name is Nicole. There's another Landon that pops up first. It's Landon D. That is my sister-in-law. She will never, ever check that email, and I will never, ever get that email. So when you email me, be really careful. It's Landon. There's 2 N's at the end of it at the 277 app. So if you email me there, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. And hopefully this information is beneficial for you. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm really looking forward to having a good year with you. I hope that you enjoy FST. It's kind of fun to have the different mix of subjects. We do those functions from Algebra 2. We go and do some statistics, which maybe you haven't seen before, and we actually teach you some new trigonometry stuff. So I personally really like this class, and I hope that you will too. Let me know if there's anything you need from me.